Alright guys, so in this video we're going to talk through the GBPJPY losing trade. The thesis behind the GJ trade was a very strong one. I'm happy with this trade regardless that it didn't work out. It is a systematic trade. I would take it time and time again. Basically what we saw on GJ was a large breakdown and what it did was come into the area above a very old 1 hour demand zone. Just around this demand zone we formed these two equal lows just above, right? So we saw that we had open range to trade into that area. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to trade straight in and buy straight out, so we shouldn't really be looking at orders in this region, in this instance, but we did actually get some really nice confirmation. There was actually one quite nice trade opportunity present, but it was an aggressive one. I did not take it because we can learn from every single move in the market. If it fits within our system, even if it's something that we didn't take, I can give you a lesson on it because I take lessons from them myself. It gives me grounds to then test from and work upon. So everything can be beneficial. Even the trades that I didn't take, if you see them in hindsight, obviously I'm not going to go forward and say, oh, I took this trade. But what I am going to do is show you that idea anyway, because you can then backtest those things and you know what to look for and you know what a textbook setup looks like. So getting into the overall setup then, basically what we said, equal lows were swept out. We traded into demand. We did wick below it a little bit, but that did not concern me too much because it was a rejection of those low prices. And after that, we had an impulse up. So that first trade, the hindsight trade that I'm talking about, came in around this point here, where we had this demand zone, and this was the demand zone that actually broke the low time frame structure. Okay, so this is a trade that I did not execute, but if we had executed it, it would have been a very good trade. So in the broke structure, bullish impulse taking out the previous lower high, and then a buy trade would have come in very nicely in the middle of that zone, or at the top of that zone is generally where we would usually execute that, using the low of the zone and then targeting the top of the London session or the equal high range. Or if we had extended it further, I'm sure we would have got a nice little profit out of it anyway with managed stops. So that is the kind of hindsight trade. Now we could actually scale that down even further. Personally, probably be looking at this zone here, buys there, stops under that low there, and that could have been a very nice trade. Unfortunately, I did not take that, but that is something for you to learn from because that's obviously, quite a low time frame, but definitely something you could test and you may see some good results in. Now, as for the trade we actually took, it was after this process had played out. And what I saw from here was, right, we came in, we respected demand, we made a higher high, a higher low, and a higher high. And this higher high actually took out all of these previous highs as well and open price into this imbalance. So I was thinking, right, we could probably run through some of this imbalance, take it towards some of these supply areas for a nice quick trade, okay? The thing I was expecting to see is because we'd seen this kind of sweep, then push up nice impulsively, I was looking for a pullback into this demand area here, where I then thought we could get another buy on just to fill some of this imbalance over here. So that was the plan. As it turns out, we actually just slammed all the way down. You will see that very strong sell-off there. So we were in and out very quickly on that trade. And that was just a loss taken pretty quick. Straight through there. I actually did say before we entered it, 0.5% risk. I said 1% initially, then I chopped it to 0.5 before it triggered because I did not like how impulsively this was pushing to the downside, but the trade was still valid. So I went for the 0.5% risk on that move, and actually that just got swept out straight away. The stop loss, I said we could either put stops below the low, we could put stops below the zone. I actually went with a more refined stop, so I was taken out pretty quick, but regardless, should have been taken out anyway. So it was a good trade. If we break down the concepts, we had equal lows, equal low sweep, trade into demand, and then this new shift is what I really like, how we have this very slow downside movement, and then a fast impulse, and then a little pullback, and then a fast impulse, and how strong this impulse was to push out this high, and this high, and open space into this imbalance. That gave me some confidence in this move. It just didn't work out. Now, this was actually pretty news fueled. At around 3 p.m., there was some news from Jerome Powell, a statement, which means he was talking for a while. So we did actually get a nice bullish move, which could have been a reaction of the news, but I did expect that to follow through. But as it turns out, something else must have changed. Sentiment must have changed within the statement, and the market actually fell. Now, you'll notice that it was a USD piece of news, I believe, that actually swayed the market here on GJ. But this is a GBPJPY cross, so there's actually no US dollar crosses within this. Just goes to show how much the US dollar affects other currency pairs and other different currencies as well. It is really the market leader. In terms of news, when it comes to the US dollar, it doesn't matter what you're trading, stay safe. So that's a breakdown of GJ. It did lose. It was a minus 0.5% risk position, but there are the concepts for you. I would take the trade again. I probably may be a bit more cautious of the news next time. It's just a system trade that didn't work. I don't have too many qualms, too many big complaints about this position. Equal lows, demand, strong momentum impulses, higher high, breaker structures there, clear demand zone imbalance there. That is an every time trade for me, really. And sometimes it's going to work, other times it's not going to. But that is why we took the trade. What could we do differently about it? Well, not a whole lot, except for maybe consider the fact that there was a news release going on and the sentiment could change very quickly. I went with a 0.5% risk. I knew that there was risk in the position. So really, I'm not too angry at anything in this trade. I'm happy with my process. Just unfortunate how it turned out. But that's the GJ trade. There's now been case studies for Euro USD and also for the GBPJPY trade now. One win and one loss. So be sure to check those out to get a little bit of an insight into the London and New York session intraday trading. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.